Hello MUS 2020 students. This is a quick video to show you the difference between clips, tracks, and loops. These are things that students tend to struggle with at first, especially if they're coming to Ableton Live from another program. But a little explanation will help a lot. And if you're ever in doubt, just ask questions in the forums. Let's start with clips. A clip is a container for musical material of any sort within Live. It can be pre-recorded digital audio, audio that you're recording directly, an MP3 on your hard drive, a loop, or MIDI information. Anything that is used to describe audio or MIDI is stored in a clip. In fact, you probably already have some of these built into Live under the clips and samples in your browser. Let's take a look at Digicussion 1. If I open up the clips, I can select one or two and drag them over into a slot in one of the audio tracks, since these are audio. And there it is. Now, if I hit the play button, I can just press that to play them. And I can use the stop clip button to stop them. I can load up to 8 different clips by default into the lane. So let's add a couple more, just at random. And watch what happens as I play them randomly. When I click one, it will stop at the next measure and play the next one that I've clicked. And as always, hitting stop clip will stop playing any clips in there. You'll notice that my timecode is still advancing though, so I need to turn my session off by hitting stop. I can also record clips of audio or MIDI data. I'll show you MIDI for now since we're going to do audio later. First, I need to explain that MIDI is the Musical Instrument Digital Interface Protocol. It's a set of instructions for controllers, synths, and samplers to talk to each other. This means that it's not actually audio, it's just data that describes audio. To get sound, I need it to go to a MIDI instrument. Live has a number of these built in, and there are many plugins in the popular VST format that you can use. I'll show you an example of each. First, I'm going to use Simpler and the Simplest Piano. I'm just going to grab it and drag it into any MIDI track. Then, if I hit Record Enable, you can hear it. At this point, what I'm going to do is record it into a clip by hitting the Clip Record button. But because I'm not really good with rhythm, I'm going to also turn the metronome on, so I have a steady pulse going through. Okay, that didn't sound too bad. I'm going to stop and hit Clip Stop, because the other thing I can do is tab over to the arrangement view, and if I hit the session record button, or sorry, the arrangement record button up here, it will record directly into the arrangement. But you'll notice that it's grayed out because back to arrange has not been hit. If I do that and hit stop, you can now hear it. It's not going to win any awards. I'll go back and let me show you an example of a VST. I'm going to go to my favorites and use play. play is from East West. This is a massive, massive sample library. I'm going to grab the solo violin and hit add. I'm relatively certain that none of you are going to have this because it's about 30 gigabytes. So let's turn that on. That sounds pretty cool. I think I'll record that. So I'm going to hit stop all to make sure that no other clips are playing. And now I'm going to hit record up here. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. So, with that, I can now play both my piano clip and my violin clip at the same time. I can also add a little bit of percussion. And I've got the start of kind of an interesting little project going. Again, probably won't win any awards though. The other thing I can do that's very cool is I can copy the MIDI data back and forth from the two MIDI tracks. I'm going to grab a copy of the simplest piano by holding down Control and dragging it, and then grab a copy of the Play VST and drag that. Oh, I copied the simplest piano. I didn't want that. But here is what my piano sounds like playing the violin's MIDI data. And here is the violin playing the piano's data. So that's a really good thing to know, that MIDI data can be copied and pasted between two tracks. Now I've been using that word track, so let's look at what that is. A track in Ableton is a host for clips and controls and how they're played. These vertical bars are tracks. So only one clip can be played at once in a track. A track also controls how clips are created and how the signal is managed in session view. So these are the vertical channel strips on a mixer, and that's basically how you should think about them, especially with the ins and outs, the sends, the volume controls, and the panning, and the always important mute, solo, arm buttons. But if I hit the tab key, I can see another view of tracks. Tracks also exist as horizontal lanes where you can arrange clips, record directly with audio or MIDI, or add and edit automation. At the top is a ruler that shows bars and beats, and at the bottom is another ruler that shows time codes. I can zoom using the magnifying glass that appears when I hover over one ruler, like so, or I can use the plus and minus buttons on the keyboard. This is where you're going to be doing the majority of your work in Ableton. What you're going to do is take clips that you've created and move them over to arrangement view to form songs, or just record directly into arrangement view. Let's look at how that works. If I have a clip I want to use, say the drum beat, I can hit tab to go back to session view. In session view, I grab the clip with my mouse, hit tab, and then drag it over to where I want to place it and release. Again, this is grayed out because I need to hit back to arrangement. Now it will play everything that's in the arrangement view. This is the most accurate way to record information in the arrangement view, to take it from session view and drop it exactly where you want it. However, I can also turn on arrangement record and manually trigger clip playback to add them to arrangement mode. To do this, I'm going to hit F9. There it is. Okay. Now, if I go back, you will see I've got quite a bit of data going on here. Again, I need to hit back to arrangement view to change that. There we go. Now, after I've hit back to arrangement, I can stop and go to the beginning and hit play to hear it. Let me zoom in to show you some really cool stuff. You'll notice that the clips that I triggered manually have little notches every couple of bars if I extend them. A little hard to see, but there's one right there. There's one right there, and there's probably a couple more. These show where the clips are repeating, letting me know that they're looped and where the loop starts and stops. If I grab the upper right edge of one of these clips, I can extend the loop forward in time and make it go longer and longer. If I take it to the left, it cuts out material. If I grab from the left edge, it crops the loop forward. If I take that left edge even further left, it extends the loop backwards in time. So with MIDI, those are the only two options. But with audio clips, I have a little bit more that I can do. So let me grab an audio clip to show you. This is just going to be a random sample. Cool. So there it is. Hovering over the edges shows two little boxes on either side in the corners. These allow me to adjust fade in and fade out of each clip. They're really useful once the loop's been set and I'm not moving it around anymore. I can still loop by grabbing and pulling it out, readjusting, but if I grab one of these boxes, that sets the fade in start point and end point, or the fade out start point and end point. There's a little diamond in between the two of those that controls how quickly the fade out happens between those 2 points by adjusting the curve. I can do that to get either more of a logarithmic or exponential curve, or I can just return it pretty much to a standard straight power curve. Keep in mind, you can't go beyond the length of the original clip for fade ins and fade outs. So if you want to do that, it's best to just re-record everything. And if you really want to do stuff like that, you'll need to get into automation, which we'll talk about later.